Welcome to tutorial 4 of the secrets of professional gamblers. In the last video we learned how to frame a horse race. Now let's learn how to profit from it without ratings. Okay, so a few words of introduction. I'm a professional engineer, and while at university I was looking for a way to make a few extra dollars that wouldn't interrupt my studies. I had a TAB near my place, which is basically a government-approved agent for horse, greyhound and harness racing, and I decided to check it out. I knew nothing about betting at first, so I put a lot of research into it and ended up knowing quite a lot about the subject. I soon realised to be good at this activity, I would have to go about it professionally. For a start, I wouldn't be betting at the TAB because of the totalisator system they use. I also wouldn't bet at the casino because of the automatic loss built into every game. In fact, the only betting I found that could be exploited for profit was sports betting, including horse racing, as long as I had access to fixed odds. I found that investing in sports markets shared a lot with traditional investing, which not only allowed me to bet profitably, but also led me to create a number of other unique betting products, which you can now find on eBay. Just search for me, Matt's Games, and have a look at Wildfire Pro Keno and Wildfire Pro Lotto. My latest product is Wildfire Pro Sportsbet, and I will use it throughout this series. If you're interested, you can get a copy of it in the link below in the comments. I like to put a disclaimer ahead of all my videos because I'm not encouraging people to waste their money on cheap thrills. I believe the main rules of gambling professionally are these. Don't risk more money than you can afford to lose, set a limit and stick to it. If you're going to gamble long-term and professionally, set aside a bankroll for betting purposes and don't use it for anything else and manage it carefully. Betting is easy when all goes well, but if you find you begin to stress after a number of losses, your betting gets reckless and you stop managing your money, perhaps it's time to look for another hobby. Stop gambling, you're not suited to this activity. In the last video, we learned how to frame a market, what the margin or overround is, and the fact that betting exchanges often have better value in their markets than bookmakers do. As we use horse racing markets to learn market framing last video, let's carry on and learn how to win from them. Other markets will be discussed later. When it comes to betting on horse races, professional bettors often do not need to worry about the form of each horse as the market odds are enough to successfully make a long-term profit. The form of individual runners in a horse race can be ignored if certain statistical facts are understood and applied. Professional bettors that do use form use their skills to frame a market to their own odds in search of value. No matter the market, it is the staking method that is more important than the selection method used. A staking method can often turn a losing prospect into a winning one and vice versa. It is the application of this knowledge that identifies a bettor as a professional. What you're about to learn is a very effective horse racing selection method that could be sold, but instead you'll learn it here for free. After analysing over 106,000 races over 16 years, Adrian Massey concluded that favourites win 35% of all races, second favourites win 20% of all races, and third favourites win 14% of all races, which totals 69%. He also found that these win rates improve slightly the firmer the going, that is, if the ground is hard or dry, so we can take advantage of this fact as well. Using our odds calculator, this 69% translates into 25 out of every 36 races being won by the first, second or third favourite selection in any horse racing market. If we frame the prices of these three horses in any race and they come out to less than 69% less commission, we can bet on all three horses to profit evenly and be confident that we will steadily profit over the long term. In this case, we can say our three selections have a positive expected value. One useful mathematical tool for quantifying the value of a bet is EV, or expected value. An EV of 0 indicates a fair bet. Below 0 is an unfair bet, and above 0 is a profitable bet. To use it, we need to know what we will profit from a wager for the price we are attempting to test. Then we enter the true odds or implied strike rate of the wager, and then let the EV calculator do the rest. A good example can be made with a well-known 50% chance event, heads or tails on a coin flip. If we bet $10 and profit $10 on the correct guess, then we are at true odds representing the 50% strike rate or $2. Betting this way will never lose or add to our bankroll in the long term. In this case, the EV is 0. If we instead get an $11 return for our $10 bet, then our EV will be positive. This tells us that we will constantly make a profit in the long term, and we should bet this way as often as possible. On the other hand, if we only get $9 return, the EV is negative, telling us that eventually in the long term we will lose our entire bankroll. If we test and return a negative EV, we should never bet. Now let's determine the EV of the top 3 favourites in an example market. Remember that the statistics of a very large population sample tells us that they will win 69% of the time. As an example, let's say the frame of our top 3 favourites comes in at 57%. Converting this percentage to a price using our calculator, we get $1.75. This means for a $10 bet, our potential profit will be $7.50, ignoring commission. Let's now put this data into our EV calculator, shown in the diagram. Using our EV calculator, we find that a return at $1.75 for a true 69% chance event results in a positive EV. In fact, the value is quite high, and you'll get a feel for the weight of EV figures with experience. Thus, we have proved that this is a very good bet to take. Of course, $1.75 is significantly larger than $1.45, so we don't need to calculate the EV every time to know it's a value bet. But the EV does help us indicate the degree of value. Wildfire Pro Sportsbet has a calculator page implementing the EV method in a number of unique ways. First, we can calculate the EV using either a known strike rate percentage or by entering any price we choose. Now, when you want to find the fair profit of a particular price and wager, instead of just entering numbers until you get close to 0, you can click the 0 button and the calculator will find the profit value for you. The same can be done to find a fair price. Click the button and the calculator will tell you what the fair price is for any set of profit and wager values. Another reason to stick to the top 3 favourites in a race is based on an idea called favourite long shot bias. This concept has been studied at an academic level. Studies have shown that the top of the market, as in the number 1 favourite, is often undervalued, while the bottom of the market is often overvalued. This means if the top and bottom price selections in a market are $1.90 and $60, then their true prices are probably closer to $1.50 and $150. Here is another reason to bet only on the best runners. Another calculator in Wildfire Pro Sportsbet is called the longest run of outs estimator, which will estimate the maximum number of losses we will get in a row before a win over a set number of races. Using 69% and 100 races, we find that we should only experience a maximum of 4 losses in a row before we get a win. Comparing this to chasing higher priced horses at an average of, say, $6 over 100 races, we can expect to suffer a possible run of 21 losses before a win. Thus, the higher the chance we win, the less run of outs we can expect. By now we have established a strong connection between the first 3 favourites of a horse race and the chance of any of them winning, which we know to be 69%. To ensure ongoing profitable bets on these favourites, it makes sense that the consistency of the 69% win rate figure is key to our long-term success. Now, the enemy of consistency is variation. To remain consistent and ensure the validity of our strike rate, we should avoid race factors that may negatively impact a horse in its run. We should also favour factors that have been shown to improve a horse's run. One such factor has been mentioned already, the track going. A hard or firm track has been shown to improve the chances of the first 3 favourites winning. We could use this fact to create a rule for our betting, bet only when the going is firm or hard. This rule may be tough to follow in winter, but it's certainly good news in summer. Another important consideration is the field size. Too small a field, and we are unlikely to get good value for our selections. Too large a field, and there is an increased risk of something occurring in race that may interfere with an otherwise winning run. Another problem with too many runners is that a clear favourite may be lost due to the competition. The best horses are easier to find in a smaller field. A second rule we might use is to avoid a race altogether if there is no clear favourite. If the odds are spread too evenly at the top of the market, then there is too much chance our favourites are priced incorrectly, or for an outsider to get the luck it needs to rob us of the win. We could add another rule to our system, make sure we don't bet on any field size outside of 8 to 14 runners or so. There are many other aspects of a horse race that can have an impact on a runner's chance to win. These include weight carried, jockey skill, barrier position, speed rating, days since last run, results of recent races, and so on. We only give consideration to going and field size because they relate specifically to the 69% win rate figure our betting method relies upon. The other variables will already be factored into the market prices on offer. Thus, we trust that we can ignore these other factors and focus on the two things that can change on the day of the race. Besides, this is the easiest way to bet on a horse race for long-term success. Finally, once we know we have a favourable market, we'll need to stake our selections in a professional manner. This is done by splitting our wager so that we profit an equal target amount regardless of the winner. Calculators online can help you with this, but often target a return, not a profit, meaning results can vary considerably. We need a betting tool that targets specific profits and that can accurately take betting exchange commissions into account. Wildfire Pro Sportsbet will do this for you. Targeting a specific profit or spend, considering variable commission rates, is a totally unique feature of the software that you won't find anywhere else. A detailed discussion on staking will be given in a later video.